Now I've got this raised. I split that all the way down through there and I add a little piece of metal in there. I still got to do a little grinding and dressing on it. But I'm going to go in here and then you can see raise that up. And then this is exactly the same height as the other side, and pretty quick, easy, solid fix for that right there. And then I've got it where it matches my wood beautifully right here. It squares it all up, does a lot of things for me. But the landing for the fender is the same way. It's just a little bit off. So what I'm going to do to hide that is I've taken the foot off of the inner bracket here. And the bottom of the foot needs work anyway. It's elongated and wore out. So I'm going to put a nice plate on the bottom of it and weld it in place. Then fabricate a centerpiece of this and just add a little bit of length to it. And I'll locate it and locate that and tack that in place. And this will be a great extension there, and you'll never know it. It's way better. I put a piece of 16 gauge across the bottom, made that foot extremely strong, cut it down a little bit, welded solid all the way around it, went ahead and added the 5 millimeters in there, and that's the way it should be. So this will look factory perfect when I get done with it, and your fenders will be exactly the same height, and it'll be all the way around. Alright, now I've got that original foot in there, and I added that little bit to it, and it worked out wonderfully. You won't even never even be able to tell that that's been altered in any way. And now it sits right up there where it needs to be. So now it's time I got to tack weld that in there, so it takes a lot of setup. So now I've got every nut and bolt in. It's about 17 of them. I got to take every one of them back out and then do this work. And then put it all back up here again. I've done that over and over and over, but I got to put in every nut and every bolt because this thing's so round. If you don't have something pulled up like it's supposed to be, in every spot it's going to be fastened. It can move it a little bit, and so it takes a while, especially to put every one of them back in it every time. And then inside here, you had those little tin nuts that are made in the fender. I'm going to take those out and weld in some 5/16. I'm going to weld in some 5/16 nuts in there to get rid of those tin nuts, and then this thing will be on here extremely strong. And I've left just a little bit of room. I could raise it just a little bit if I need to shim under here, and I've left a little room in the sides where I can kind of move that out a little bit too. So far so good. I've got that side where I want it. I've got it up and pulled in a little bit, and it's all tacked in place. I have to take it all apart to finish out all that. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of all that being locked out where it is and go ahead and redo this foot. So I've kind of massaged this a little bit to get this to fit up against the cowl real nice, and the foot is about the same condition as the other one was. So I'm going to plate the bottom with the 16 gauge metal. But while I have it off, I'm going to install this inner mount support inside here because this outside is in such good shape. The car has never been wrecked, so I'll be able to follow along with that, with this piece. And then, and that'll even allow me to, I'll weld in there a way where I can still adjust it a little bit. Just maybe tack weld it and still be able to move it. Then put this back on here and then do this piece when it's locked down where it needs to be, and I can lay that piece right in there, and that's going to work out real nice. Inside here, it had like 10 nuts in there, and they're pretty healthy ones, 5/16. But I'm going to weld in 5/16 nuts in all three of these. And that's going to make for a stronger, secure hold. And then I will space it to where when it locks down, it locks down right where it needs to be. And then we'll bolt it all back up here. And then I'll take the other fender off and then do the inside of it and finish up all that. So it's a lot of back and forth. But as I secure and straighten back and forth, it's just going to work it all the way out, and it'll be super nice when I get done. Now you can see the difference. Now that I got that side of the cowl and this side of the cowl, that side pulled up exactly where this side is, that side just kind of went downhill, and it was really noticeable from the front. But this one comes out real nice and strong, and then down, it's all hanging naturally. I've got a bolt in it. I did the other side the same way, and tightened it up. This hood and the fenders never, this is off the Woodie, this is off the car, so there's a little variances down through there, and I can adjust those out as we go. But this part is looking really good. But while I was tightening these up, and I know I have to put in my 3 weld-in nuts, I'm going to put on both sides. I'm relocating them just a little bit to get them right in the dead center of the hole so they'll be nice and solid. I've got to do your air breather, so let me show you what's going on in the air breather. And there on your breather, I'm going to try to use all the original Explorer stuff, and I want to get this mass airflow in the exact same location, and it's going to work out perfectly with the old ram air for the vent air inside. I'm just going to box this off a little bit, put a place for a removable filter, changeable filter, and then get this on there. But in doing so, this inner piece still needs some work, your inner fender. So while I'm off doing all this other work, I'm going to go ahead and redo this inner fender. It needs that box completely rebuilt where it's all rusted out and closed off. Just a bunch of work on this piece because it's going to move a little bit as I do all this work. Then when I put it back in here, then I can start buttoning all this on down and button down that side. And then get all the hood set, and we'll be in good shape. And this is going to be a fun little project. The stud is pretty good because I'd like to make this part fit perfectly the first time so I don't have to go to the salvage yard and find another one. And it looks like this thing will go straight down in there and land right on top of that inner fender in perfect spot. I've got it marked to where the fender radius, the inner fender radius comes around, and this piece will start. I'm going to try to leave all the bottom all the way around to that point so I can put a gasket on that or something. That'll kind of evolve as I go. But right now I've got it marked when it's setting level and exactly where it needs to be, and I'm fixing to whittle it off, and I'll just slowly whittle it down, and I think I can get this one to set right down in there on top of that, cap it off, and then come up with a way to put a filter in it, and that is going to be sweet. All that in the factory spot, this factory box, it whittled down and in here like it is. Shut the hood, and the angle of this is exact angle as the hood. I've got the same clearance at the front. Then at the back, it's about the same angle, and it rises up towards the back. So it looks like it was made to go here. And then I'll just whittle down these tracks. I had to cut a little groove here for this landing to go down through there. And I straightened that up and just whittled on everything to make it go in there to keep it as big as possible. And I'll just make a little piece that goes in there and then finish all this out, and you won't even be able to tell it. Then on the inside this ram air, I'm going to be able to open up the front. I'm going to go in there since the sides are gone anyway. I'm going to change it and lean it so your inner fender is going to lean in, and it'll be the full size of the pocket. And then somehow make a filter that will go in there. And maybe make this removable. Let's see if I can get that off there. And then you can change the filter. I don't know. Still working on that. But you can see how much I've whittled off of there. Mass airflow sensor is going to be in the exact location and position as it was on the Explorer. So it should run just like it did in the Explorer. So I'm very, very stoked about that. So I'll work on this a little bit more and get this little piece made a little further along. Then when I take this fender off, I can do all that work in there, all that work over here, all the work down in here, put my inner support in the fender, and then put all this side back on. Then I'll do the same on the other side. And for long, I have a front buttoned up. But working out great. Now, I've had this fender on and off a dozen times, and that's put every nut, every bolt in it completely, and then completely line it up and do a little work and take it off. And I have to just keep doing that because every time I do a little bit, it kind of moves and tightens. And I'm doing the same on the other side. Now, I'd already done a lot of that with the Woodie fenders, but the Woodie fenders were just so bad that I just couldn't even get a spot to find out where any of it went. At least the car one is strong enough to kind of hold itself in the spot I need so that I can make all this back to it, because all of this was moved and I didn't have any location for it. So this nice front end is helping me locate all this right here. And then once I get all that blended in, it's going to be good all the way around. This is your fresh air. So now that the fender's off, I'm going to finish welding this and put a little shield on it so water don't get splashed up in there. And then while I've got the fender off, let me show you what I'm going to do to the fender. Alright, here's your fender, and it's never been wrecked, so it's in really good shape. So while this outer skin's still in place, I'm going to go in there and cut out as little of this as I can and install this piece in there. And I'll just tack weld it here and here so that I can still adjust this if I need to, but also it'll hold this original shape, and that should be where it needs to go. But it's always nice to have that little bit of fine tuning. If I need, I can just cut them little tack welds and then move that where it needs to be. So I'll get that in place. This up here, I'm going to put the 16 gauge under that. It's rusted real thin, gone here. I had to slice it and move this a little bit to match the couch. It's just a little bit different than the car, just a little bit. And then this is your air intake. And this is working out outstandingly well. So your car originally had this ram air for the interior air that went in here. I'm going to put a weld-in nut to make that a little easier to get to. But we're not using any of that ram air for the interior air anymore. So I'm going to use it for your air filter. So I took the one, and you saw me cut it all down to where it is right now. And look how good it's fitting. And then I'll just come back in here and make a little piece that rolls in here for a little channel for the hood to lay down into. Maybe put some little pins on it or something so that they have 2 screws, 3 screws, something like that. Pop, and then this comes out, and then hopefully I can get a filter that goes down in there. When I get done getting all that in place, I'll go see what kind of filters are available. I'll probably go get the filter first. I'll measure this out with a guide and try to find something that's as close to get in here as possible, as big as possible. And then I can come back in here where this air intake comes in like this. I'm going to put this at an angle and use this whole entire pocket here for ram air. And then put a little screen in the front of it. And that's going to be really nice. This piece here is so rusted out. I don't know if it shows up in the camera, but it's just translucent and just rusted all to pieces. It's rusted out right there. I looked at the one on the car. The car is worse than this one. So I'll go back and put metal in these places. But like I say, I'll probably cut this whole side off and just make this whole thing the air intake right there. And then I'll do something with this where it's rusted out so that I can hang a little splash here, maybe a little splash here, and then this is where it goes over the spring. So that is really going to be nice when I get done with that. And that'll be the Explorer that'll make it run really nice, being the exact location it was when the car was built. So let's get to work and start modifying this stuff.